Okay, excuse me for my poor quality and probably poor taste in judgment on jokes and things, but I'm going to try to do an attempt at being a comedian. Okay, this might come out wrong and it might come out best. I don't know. Hold on. I gotta get this camera straight so I can get it right. Alright. I'm gonna attempt to do comedy. Alright. My name's Isaac David Brigman. I was born May the 15th, 1981. I'm from Broxton, Georgia. And I'm trying to be a Renaissance man, basically. I'm jack of all trades. Preaching, teaching. When I teach, it's like recipes and some knowledge and some religion, and trying to be a comedian. Alright. And I'll try to do some singing from time to time. I've been told in my church that I'm a pretty good singer because if you ever give any indication to the church that you can sing, they want you up there singing to show it. I mean, I like my church. I love it. I mean, what I'm going to do before I get into my routine is to say some little kind words about my life that you might want to hear. Like, I'll say, well, I like my church. They're good people, and we may have our disagreements at times, and things may be said, but they're good people, and I wouldn't get rid of them for nothing in the world. And they're basically all Southerners. Now, you might think, now, wait a minute, you got a Northerner in the group. Yes, but he's been here so long, he might as well be a Southern man from the, he might as well be a Southern man from the North. Or as some people like to call it, a Northern redneck. Nice guy. I wouldn't give anything for people like that in this world, because I feel like people like that make the world go round and make it better for us. And God knows that by doing things like that, you know, it makes the world better by having unique people. But excuse my collar, it's been acting up on me ever since I've done it this way. And yes, I am wearing a cross for those of you. And yes, I do have some tolerations for things that would make you think, well, you're not a Christian if you tolerate certain things. But I'm digressing here, and let me get to my show. Alright, you know, it's getting to a point these days when you can't even talk to nobody. I mean, you be walking down the road and say my hand's a person, and you be walking down the road, bam! You so-and-so, what the world are you doing? I'm like, hold on. Now, no offense to other parts of the world, okay, when I say this, but I had a weird experience when I was growing up in Miami. No, it wasn't Miami, it was Orlando. See, there you go. My brain's about gone. That's a bad experience right there in itself. But the point, seriously, but the point was, in Orlando, when I was growing up, excuse me, wipe on my mouth. Just drank me a lot of coffee. But anyway, what happened was, when I was in high school, the chorus class I was in would go to Orlando for a spring break trip. And we go to, I've been there about 2 or 3 times with the class, because, you know. And what happened was, we went to the now some of y'all might know this place, the Bob Kerr Theater in Orlando, Florida. Nice place. I've seen the 2 times that I went on 2 of the trips, I've seen the Phantom of the Opera and Madame Butterfly. Recommend both of them. Now, Phantom of the Opera, the way I saw it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was the kind of nerve-wracking you need, the kind of little jolt in the fear side, you know. I recommend that. And then Madame Butterfly, they actually let a real helicopter in the building. Now, I thought to myself, a real helicopter in the building? How in the world do you get away with that mess? I try to do something like that, they'd be like, oh shoot! Kill everybody, why don't you dumb fool? Have that thing. I'd probably be at that thing spinning around like crazy, couldn't stop the mess. And they're like, get the freak out of here with that helicopter. I'd be like, have the doggone tail going around. that would have probably been a mess. I know y'all already done ready to leave and cut off and shut off and be quiet about me, I know. But I'm just saying, you know, I probably couldn't fly an airplane. Fly one. I probably wouldn't even know what the first thing was to push. I'd probably press a button and dump a whole load of oil or fuel all over the place, and they said, "You old so-and-so, you can't even fly a plane." Well, first of all, I have to wonder, old? I'm only 31, what are you talking about? Well, anyway, you dumped a whole load of mess all over the place. And I believe it's funny, you know, you go somewhere and you talk to people, and some of their reactions is very strange. You'll tell it, I've had people you talk to about, would you like to go to church? About rip your head off or say, or look at you like, why in the world did you take your time out of your life to tell me about church? And I think it's real stupid. And then I've seen people that you talk about the Lord and they know you're about the Lord. It brightens their day to know they met another Christian. And I'm like, it does me too, actually. You know, but, and there's nothing wrong with listening to people cussing as long as you know that that's the kind of life you're not going to live. Because we have to understand that we can't live in this world without somebody saying something. So you might as well get used to the fact that there are people going to say what they got to say. And I love it. Don't you just love it when these people try to talk bad, but they don't want to use the normal foul language, so they invent words so that they can get away with it? And I mean, who invented the word dingleberry? Come on now. That was just another way of saying I want to cuss without getting in trouble, if you ask me. Then you got these people that will tell you in your face how important certain things are to do in life, and then you hear that, and by the time you heard that, they come back and have a different attitude than what they said. This is so important, you must do this in life, because if you don't do this, you're going to get in trouble. So you're like, okay. So you think, okay. So you find out later on, they lied, because if it was so important as they said it was, they'd be doing it themselves. And I remember at one time in history when music was the most important recorded words and songs and sayings in the world. Now it's like anything that can be spit out of a person's mouth, whether it be songs or jokes, is being recorded. And I think that's good because, you know, we don't have very many people doing stuff like that. Now I'm going to tell a joke right now, and it may sound terrible. Hold on, this little cell phone thing's going off. I don't even know why. The thing, here's what I don't get. Here's what I don't get, and you might agree and you might disagree. I don't know. That's your opinion. I mean, I'm not going to force you to go along with my opinions and my beliefs or whatever. But hold on, I'm trying to get this to where I can. I mean, there's some things I may say that may make you laugh your guts out, and I may say some things you wish I'd never said and want to kill me. I mean, I'm bad video man sometimes, you know. I try to do things a certain way and I can't, but anyway, I'll do it best I can right now. Well, shoot, I'm trying to do this a certain, excuse that was something to do with the internet over here. That's somewhat good enough. I'll just leave it like that. Well, no, I ain't satisfied still. Excuse me being Mr. Perfectionist, but I'm trying to entertain you people. You people are good people, and some of you aren't so good. I mean, but I don't judge you too much because there, that's somewhat better. Anyway. Anyways, what I'm saying is that, you know, you meet people in this world and they tell you all about life. They say, okay, this is something you must do in order to make it in this world is so important to do. But you look at, like, how come they can say that but they don't follow their own rules? Well, it's like the saying goes, well, I got to get something straight here because I'm not exactly impressed with myself. That's probably best up there. That's a little better. Anyways, you know, I'm not probably going to ever be a movie star. I'm probably never going to be the best thing in the world, but at least this is going to be a little brief history of me and you, okay? Excuse my little actions I do. It may seem gross at times. Okay, here's my little, it's a little brief history of mine. Okay. Now, I know sometimes people say don't divulge so much information about yourself. Hold on. But my point was, what if you get to a point where you learn that when you got God on your side, get up closer, that'll help some too, there. When you have God on your side, you tend, now this is what I'm calling right now a comedy show / brief history / other random things I wanted to bring up. But this part of it is brief history. Well, I was born, as I said, May the 15th, 1981, at Coffee Regional Medical Center in Douglas, Georgia. My hometown is Broxton, Georgia. I was class of 2000 at Coffee High School. I have various occupations, and right now I'm jack of all trades at this point, and I'm trying to do the best I can at some of my ventures. I was born to, at the time, it was Marjorie Diane Brigman. My father was Edward Lee Brigman. And for those of you that know Coffee County and know people in Coffee County, he was basically a contract carpenter. In a sense, what that means in my book is that you hired him out to build for you, and he had crew under him, and one of the part-time workers when they could was my mom. And when he had his job. Anyway, point was, I'm gonna say, if I get closer, if I can't, then I won't do it. That's good enough. Anyway, I'm gonna say things about myself from time to time that some people would look at me and say you shouldn't say because you're a grown man, but my point is, I just got to let you people know that if it weren't for my mother and the good Lord, I probably wouldn't be alive today. And I may not always be perfect with what I say or do, and I understand that, but my point is that, you know, my father was what he was, you know, I mean, some good, some bad, and a lot of the kids he had, which he had, let's see, we had about 7 or 8 kids, and I was his last. And what happened was that they were all my half siblings. Some were blood to each other, but to me they were all half. And I've got to learn right now that I need to basically find their addresses, write them letters, invite them to church, and if they don't go, that's their business. If they want to cuss me out, that's their business. But I'll take it. I'll take how they give it to me. Just give it to me, period. I mean, you know, because that shows something right there. But anyway, I wanted to say it like this. My mission statement here is basically, in this case, what I want to do here is basically to entertain you people, to educate you people, and to let you people know about things that, yeah, you probably knew how to do some of this stuff, but you never got such a perspective on this as what kind I give. That's like, I took one evening and it got called every name in the book when it came to food names. But I didn't get upset when they did it, because I thought, you can't get upset when people call your recipes different things. If you had made a pie, or made a cake, or bread, or whatever, and people keep calling it different names, by a certain point, you gave up caring about what it was called. You just wanted it to be recognized enough to where you would know what it was that was made, so you could repeat it. Like a good example of what I'm saying is that I made one day some bread, took it to church. It got called cornbread, it got called different names, but that didn't bother me. But the thing that really got to me, in a not a bad way but a good way, was that people liked it and they bragged about it still. It was simple, and if you ask me for the recipe, I'll tell you, because I don't like divulging some things without getting asked, you know. Yeah, I've got my problems. I mean, one leg's longer than the other, back ain't exactly as straight as it should be. I need to get rid of a little gut, but I do have some muscle on me because I do work out some, but I still got a little gut. I do drink a recipe that is a mix of coffee, sweetener, some protein shake, you know, like protein powder you mix up to make a shake with, and you can add honey if you want to, or leave it out. You can add, you know, creamer if you want to, or leave it out. You can put real milk or powdered milk. It's up to you. I mean, and drink that. It turns out when you drink that, you don't hardly want nothing else to eat for a while. Now, I do understand that some of you might not like coffee. Well, you can leave the coffee out if you want to. But anyway, the point is, you have to learn what to do or not do in order to be healthy. But anyway, I digress a lot. But my point was is that I just wanted you people to know that I'm not here to make fun or nothing, unless it's something that needs to be made fun of. And a lot of times it's like, if I do something a certain way, or if a guy does something a certain way, I'm not really making fun of them. I'm actually just trying to give them credit for something they did, but do it in a funny way. Like, if I say something funny about myself that, you know, depending on what it is, I'm probably making fun of myself in the right way, or either just clowning around about myself. But anyway, I just don't feel like there's a lot of people out there who understand that you have to find things that are interesting, regardless of a skit or either just you in front of a camera, and talk about it. Like, I don't understand this big trend going on about the bath salts things. When I heard more about it, I realized it wasn't bath salts like you grew up knowing about your family members using in the bathtub. It's some kind of chemical or something that looks like that kind of stuff, the traditional bath salts. It looks like it, but people use it and they get high off the mess, act like some crazy idiots, and do things they shouldn't do. Which is, it's shameful that we live in a world today when people invent something to get high off of, when knowing you're not, if you want to get high off the Lord. And if you ever see me do skits where I get high or anything, note, I'm not promoting drug use. I'm promoting natural highism, or natural highlism, or whatever you want to call it. because I believe in the peace sign, the cross, meditation, prayer, and the belief of getting high naturally through your imagination. Because with that kind of attitude, you can get in and out of mental states without having to actually mess your life up, and you can still be a good Christian, faithful follower of your beliefs. But I just think that too many people don't sit down and just have a heart-to-heart with people, you know, like some people used to do, or people should do. I mean, I love you people as what you are, people. And if you happen to be fans of mine, that's good, but I don't expect no one to just pat me on the back and say, "You did good, boy. You made it out there." I mean, no, I just want people to understand that, you know, the Lord's there for you, and if you ever need to talk to somebody, if you need to talk to a, I don't know if you could, a being, or I'm not going to sit there and try to explain to you what the Lord is in the sense of a person or a being or a spirit. I'm just saying this, the Lord is the Lord, and I'll just say that's what it is. Nobody's ever in history could ever say what the Lord was, because the Lord was everything and nothing. Something, and in the same sense, what is the Lord is not the Lord. So what we're trying to say in the sense of is, don't try to figure out what the Lord is in the sense of, like, this is me. I know I'm a person. I know that I just pinched my cheek. And excuse me for looking terrible on here. A lot of times I stay up at night because I don't sleep as good as I should, and I'll be looking like I got bags under my eyes. I can see my air. But anyway, my point is, you know, people get this attitude towards me, like they see the way I act, like I am now, and they say, with all your ups and downs you go through, and with all the ways that you've said things you probably should have said and shouldn't have said, how come you are by yourself? Well, I made too many bad choices when it came to the opposite sex, because I felt like I had to have somebody in my life, and I let that emotion take over and ruin my life at times. And you know, a lot of times you look at it and say, you should have just left it with the Lord. You should have told the Lord, look, Lord, you're going to handle my love life. You're going to be my almighty Cupid, and you do what's right. But I didn't do that. Hold on. Yep. That blue behind me is morning. I've been up about all night. Off and on. I fell asleep in this chair some. You can't really say you fell asleep in a chair, because it's kind of hard to sleep in a hard metal chair, you know, them folding chairs, but I do what I can. But my point is with these stories is that, look, if you know me personally and you see this video, I'm going to say this to you, and I'm not being gay, and look, I'm going to say things on different subjects, okay? I'm going to pick you out, and when I pick you out, I'm going to tell you something personally, but it's a, what you call a public personal thing. When I say public personalness, what that means is it's dedicated to certain people, but yet it's also something that the world can hear about. Like if I said something to a guy named Billy, and say I said something to Billy, but I didn't mind the world hearing what I had to say to him. See what I mean? Like, so that would be personal publicness. Okay, this is dedicated to the ones that know me personally, as in they know me as me. I mean, they've been face to face with me, they've talked to me and all that. I love you people. If you're my friends, I love you as my friends and as family members. If you are family, shame on you for some of the things you did that the Lord knows about it, and the Lord's going to get you one day for it. And you've been told how many times not to do what you did, but you did it anyway. And yeah, I've done some things too I'm not proud of. So that's where so I know about doing things you shouldn't do. And if you're people out there who wanted to know about me, come in my face, talk to me, get to know me, find out what kind of guy I am. If you're some secret admirer of mine and you wanted to go out with me, why didn't you say something already? Are you scared I wouldn't take you, as you wanted me to? How do you know I wouldn't? I'm not perfect, but some people, I've learned there are some women out there who want a man who's not perfect. And I say to women that have such a kind heart like that, God bless you, because there's not many people out there like that. Me and our women, they want supermodels, and they want male and female supermodels. They want people that might as well be close to being a God themselves. And we don't need to be that way. We need to be letting people know that we want in our lives the kind of people that the Lord wants when it comes to dating or marriage. And people, don't judge folks and say, well, so-and-so is talking to so-and-so, so they must like each other. Well, I don't do like that. I say if that person's talking to me and they happen to like me, that's on their head to say so. So if some woman is talking to me and they like me, it'll come out, and when it does, then I'll express how I feel about it. But there's nothing wrong if two people like each other and one's older than the other, as long as it's not hundreds and thousands of years old and that the young one in the story is not a baby. As long as you're not a baby, and as long as you're not 100,000s of years old, then what's the problem with two people actually going out on a date, or either confessing that they have feelings for each other? If they do. Too many people have let things like that get in the way and say, well, so-and-so must like so-and-so. Well, what if they do? It's not your place to say anything. And also, if you really think highly of somebody, don't go off like, it's wrong to say anything about it. 'Cause I've seen people talking and talking and talking, and when they talk, they say they say things they think of another person, but yet if those thoughts are supposed to be actions, they never show it. And I worry about some people, but it won't do me no good to try to do anything about it, because if I did try to do something about it, I'd probably get in trouble. So I try to let things die out. But all you can do to help some people is pray for them and all. But basically my goal here is to just say things that I got on my mind that I think you might want to hear about. I've got many channels, and I've had many things going on in my life that I disagreed with on what some people said, but you couldn't do nothing about it because they seemed to rule over certain subjects, and once they said their piece, it's like, what? And if the right person finally said what they wanted to say, I think if it would probably work out, but they're too scared to say anything because they're afraid they might get put out. Well, if you get put out, then the Lord wasn't in the story in the first place, because they took him out before they put him in, but yet they said they put him in. Well, as I stroke my chin here, I wonder, do you people really believe that there is a God? Do you believe there is a Jesus? Well, if you do, then why are you putting them out before you put them in, and then claiming you had them in the whole time? It makes no sense. But I think that, my life should and will get better. I've had many friends that were older than me tell some amazing stories about their families, and some of them were like hallelujah moments, and some were What in the world? But you never know what'll happen anymore. I've seen and heard a lot of things in my time. Makes you wonder why some people act like they do. But I don't know. But you know, I'm just trying to be a regular down-to-earth person. Trying to do videos where not only do I do videos, but trying to get a business going where I do videos for other people. You know, and I'm just trying to do that setup where it's like, if you wanted videos done where they're on YouTube, then I would do it for you, you know, if you wanted me to. And like commercials and events and things, and put them on YouTube on a page, especially for random videos that I had done for other people. But stuff like that, you don't really get too much yay about it, because a lot of times when you speak of internet and putting videos on the internet, a lot of people, if they do talk to you about it, some people get psyched about it, you know, get all yay, and then when they find out, wait a minute, certain things can happen by being on the internet. No, then they cut it out, because they say, oh, no more of that, because I don't know, some people, I guess, they don't understand that the thing that they said they wanted done with the internet is also the same reason why they cut it out later on, because they say, wait, I'm gonna be on video. You know, they're gonna be on video, so then they say, well, that means that what they're trying to say will get told to the world. So then they'll say, well, that's a good idea, I want the world to know. Then sometime later they realize, wait a minute, I'm also gonna be on video, which means the whole world knows who I am. Whoa, wait a minute, no, cut it out. Now you might say to me, do you know this for a fact? Well, no, I don't, but I figure that's part of reasons why some people say no on things. Well, if you got a person using a camera on you and doing this for a good reason, then they're not going to just go out there to try to hurt you or destroy your life or whatever. They're trying to get the thing you're saying out there so the world knows about the important message you have to say, regardless of what you're saying, as long as it's decent and clean. But I don't know, sometimes I just think that some people want what they want when they want it, and they don't ask the Lord what He wants. What does God and Jesus want? What does heaven want? Nobody asks those questions. They just think that, you know, it doesn't matter. But it does matter, because if they told you to do something on the internet or do something to other people, then I would do what God and Jesus said, because I know in my heart that they're going to reward you in their own way for what you did, if you did something good in their name. Not like some of these people blowing themselves up in the name of the Lord, or in some kind of a God that they worship and then think they're going to get somewhere when they die. You're not going to blow yourself up and go to heaven or go to another world and end up with how many virgins of men or women, or how many people. I mean, that's kind of a made up thing, I think, you know, because I don't understand these people who have these weird beliefs. And I mean, now don't get me wrong, I didn't say religious beliefs were weird. I'm just saying some people believe that if you're dead and you have a certain mindset when you die, that it'll carry you into another existence like heaven or similar to heaven. And that's not the way I see things. That I see it that there's a heaven and there's a hell. If you do right and you die, you go to heaven. If you do wrong and you die, you go to hell. There's no such a thing as dying, going to this other world where there's like all these men and women waiting to greet you just say, okay, hey, I'm a virgin, now let's get it on and make me a virgin no more. That makes no sense. These people are saying, different things, that sound like they just gone, lost their minds. I mean, but I don't know. I don't know. Some people just get you confused because you try to say something to them and then they look at you like you was the one in the wrong, when if they're wrong, they need to admit they're wrong. If you're wrong, you need to admit you're wrong. If you don't admit you're wrong, well, get it straightened out with God. I mean, say, look, I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. So what do I do? Well, that's a good idea. Figure it out. Study it. Ask questions. Learn. Don't sit there and say, well, this is the answer and this is all the answer I'm going to get. Well, no, you can't say that, because we're not like that. But I'm just saying, right now in my mind, if you take what you believe seriously, and if your beliefs are good, okay. But back to where I was about people, I'm going to pinpoint. Okay. To every guy who ever was president of the United States, and to the president himself, I have no problem with you. You're good people. Everybody's good in their own way. And I base my feelings on presidents we've had and will have based on, well, are you doing what you're supposed to do for the people? And let's hope that whatever I say, if y'all see this, y'all don't take it the wrong way and think, go arrest the man because he said something. That's not my point I was making. My point I was making was that, yeah, we've got people that will be president, have been president, want to be president, should have been president, just going on with it and on, you go on. But thing is, you don't base your feelings on the president by their race or their religion or all that. You base them on, are they doing what they're supposed to as a president? And look, if you're God-fearing people and you want to run for president, ask God, what does He want? What does God and Jesus want for you to do at being a president? You got these people looking at you like, you're confused. I understand it makes no sense sometimes why some folks just go behind your back and they say, well, I'm going to do something and then I'm going to get in trouble for it, or I'm going to get you in trouble for it. Well, look, anybody out there, I never said nothing wrong about our presidents. I just said that I may not like some of the things they do, but we're all going to find something we don't like about somebody, what they do. So don't get the idea that you need to be trying to say I'm a threat to any religious or political person, because that's not what I'm saying. Believe what you want to believe, but it would be nice to, before you start jumping into your beliefs, to ask God what He thinks about what you should believe in. Ask Jesus what He thinks you should believe in. Take those answers and go with it. And if you want to be a president, a king, a prime minister, a sheriff, a mayor, a governor, any kind of political or monarchy situation, before you get to that point, ask the Lord, what does He want? What does God want? What does Jesus want you to do about this whole thing? Do they want you to run for that office, or do they want you to just leave it alone? And yes, we have our beliefs about who was the better person for certain countries, but that don't mean that we're trying to bash or talk bad about that person. We're just saying what we think and what we feel. No offense, up or down. So don't take me as I'm trying to talk bad about nobody. I'm just saying how I feel. I've seen things that, I'm not gonna lie, that our president has done that I thought was kind of crazy, but I don't really think it was something that it was one person doing it. I think that another guy who was in office probably could have done the same thing if he wanted to, and done it the same positive or negative that our president has. So, every president had something on them, like something that people made something of, and that's just how it is. Same with mayors, same with governors, sheriffs. I mean, I've heard all the stories about, well, so and so did such and such, and it's been said through history like that. And I'm not a rich guy by no means. But I will say this. I will say it like this. If you happen to be in a position where you said that you wanted to pick somebody, and I know this might sound like I'm asking for something, but I'm not. I'm just saying how I feel. If you're out there saying you want to pick somebody to say, I'm taking this person on a paid vacation because I feel like somebody in this world needs one. If it happened to be a paid vacation in this sense, meaning you paid for the trip, and it was anywhere in Europe, I'd have probably said UK, and probably say somewhere like London. If you picked me, I mean to say, if you said, okay, hey Isaac, you want to go on a vacation? Yes. You want to go on one where someone pays for the whole trip? Yes. You want to go to Europe? Yes. Where in Europe? I'd say London. And if people look at me like, that's a rough place to go. And we're not talking about rough as in like bad people. We're talking about rough as in like weather-wise. I was like, yeah, but I've always wondered what it was like there. Now, if I actually had ended up moving there, it would probably be hard to get used to. Driving on the other side of the road, changing your currency. I'm already on disability, and I don't know how that would get changed. And I also have other means of support. But my point is, I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me, because I've done that enough for myself at times, and I shouldn't probably, but I want people to see me as me and accept me as me and say, look, he needs a friend, I'll be his friend. Whatever he needs, I'll be there. But I let it go, and I won't push nothing on nobody. I won't push nothing on them, and I hope they don't push nothing on me that doesn't need to be pushed. I mean, you gotta push something on me, I don't mind it as long as it's what you're supposed to push on me. Don't force me to be something that you're not supposed to force me to be. If you have to force me to do something, it better be what you're supposed to. And how do you get to that point? Ask God and Jesus what they want you to do to me. Once you get your answer that way, then go with it. Run with it. Don't sit there and say, well, I can't be talking to you, about this subject. You can. You just need to know by praying about it, where do you need to go with me on this subject. But I'm probably kind of digressing here, spending more time, rambling on about something that you're probably getting tired of hearing about, but it's just me being kind of real with you people. It's just like I'm saying that, if you ever wanted to meet me, let me ask you this: why? I'm not that popular with a lot of people, and the ones I am popular with, some of them don't get popular with some folks because they're good-hearted, down-to-earth people, and some folks just don't like that stuff. But that's the kind of people that's helped this world be what it is. Some could be your grandpas, your grandmas, your fathers, your mothers, your brothers, your teachers. I mean, it could be anybody in this world. And they're, good people just are hard to find anymore because you can't seem to open a door and walk right out and find one. And in that sense, not all people that are good are all the way good, and they have their issues, even if it's attitude or whatever. But who doesn't anymore have some problems in their life? But my point is, I shouldn't judge people. And I've had times I said things about people I didn't know. So I don't know, and I apologize to people out there if I've ever said anything bad about them or to them about somebody else or whatever, because that was not my intentions. I just said what I felt, and I let it come out the wrong time, wrong place, maybe wrong person too. But I don't know. But I need to probably